The woman sprawled across the wing of the aircraft as it hurtled through the sky, desperately wrestling with the fuel cap. When she finally got it open, she grabbed the bottle of liquor her boyfriend passed to her and began frantically pouring it into the tank. Without warning, a violent gust of wind ripped the bottle from her hands, sending it spinning into the void. Her boyfriend quickly handed her another bottle. This time, she was extra careful, gripping it with white knuckles as she emptied every last drop into the fuel tank. The gauge crept up to 10%. Finally, they had a fighting chance. But as her boyfriend reached to pass the last bottle, disaster struck. The woman barely managed to grab onto the wing, saving herself from being hurled into oblivion. But now, they were out of alcohol. With no other choice, she had to risk the treacherous journey back to the cockpit. By some miracle, she made it back inside unharmed. Their luck seemed to be turning. Her boyfriend had just spotted what looked like an island suitable for an emergency landing. If they could find it, they might actually survive this nightmare. The woman took over the controls, banking the plane toward where her boyfriend had pointed. But after searching desperately, the island was nowhere to be seen. Worse still, the fuel gauge had hit empty. The propeller sputtered to a stop. Without power, the plane could only glide on momentum alone. Just as despair began to overwhelm her, her boyfriend caught a glimpse of the island through the haze. There was no time to celebrate. She wrestled with the controls, aiming for the tiny landmass below, preparing for an emergency landing. But with no engine power, their fate was in the hands of chance. As they plummeted, she gripped the control stick with everything she had, fighting to keep the plane level. It wasn't enough. The impact was catastrophic. Both of them hung upside down in the flooded cockpit, unconscious, as seawater rushed in. The plane began its rapid descent to the ocean floor. In that critical moment between life and death, the woman came to first. She tried desperately to wake her boyfriend, but he wouldn't respond. With seawater filling the cabin, she summoned every ounce of strength to force open the door and drag his limp body to the surface. After frantic efforts to revive him, he finally gasped back to consciousness. Just as they began to celebrate their narrow escape, they felt water lapping at their feet. The woman's blood ran cold as she realized the truth. Their island was nothing more than a sandbar, barely 100 square feet of exposed seafloor. When the tide came in, it would vanish completely. The crushing realization broke her. The water rose relentlessly, the sandbar shrinking by the minute. Soon they were submerged to their necks, only their tiptoes touching the disappearing ground beneath them. In that moment, they truly understood what it meant to feel utterly, hopelessly abandoned by fate.